So you've just joined the Persona series, and you're wondering about those first two entries, particularly Persona 1. Man, this gameplay looks so old and dated, it's so annoying, that random encounters are tedious. And I bet you're wondering, well, does the story at least hold up? And yeah, the story holds up well. In fact, it's one of the best stories in the entire series, and some of the best characters in the entire series. But I'm not gonna pretend to be some elitist who go, well, if you don't play these games, you're not a real fan. But I do think you're missing a lot by not at least experiencing these games. And I'm also not gonna be one of those people who says, well, if you can't stand the dated gameplay and the older mechanics that aren't as easy to use for a modern day gamer, we're not gonna call you like a fraud or talk down to you and say, well, you don't deserve to play the game at all, like I've seen some people do. I'm just going to give you a very quick tutorial of some alternative ways to experience Persona 1. The first thing I'm going to say is what not to do. What not to do is read the manga instead. I've seen this take a lot online where people say, oh, you can just read the manga's better than the game anyway. Oh, the devs said the manga was better. One, the devs never said that the manga was better than the game. They said that they enjoyed it because of how different the manga was. Even though they gave some notes on some of the characters like Kandori and Aki's relationship, and like some lore stuff like with Pandora. The actual characterization of some of the characters and the way the story flows is very different from the game. In fact, the Snow Conquest, which is almost an entirely second game within Persona 1 itself, is so drastically cut down. That's just a completely different thing. It has no relevance, no flow. Even though the Snow Conquest is actually Kaneko, the art director and character designer of Persona 1's favorite part of Persona 1. He said it represents everything that the game is about, particularly with characters like Yukino. But Yukino has 5 lines in the entire manga. She becomes a nothing kid. Since you guys are newcomers, I'm not going to spoil this part, but the fact that the manga changes the main character, who I'll from now I'll call Narumi Yuya, or Yuya Narumi, who's called Nayo Toro in the manga version. These changes deeply impact the symbolism and the thematics of the entire game of Persona 1. It's not a stretch to say that Persona 1 as a game, a lot of it is hinged on the fact of Narumi Yuya's character, and it's further reflected in the story of Persona 2. And the sad thing is, not many people actually realize that because of a lot of stuff like this. And I plan to have a video about that, which should release within the next month or so. It's probably going to be a very long video. There's a lot there, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But anyway, to the main crux. You don't like Persona 1's gameplay. You don't like Persona 1's graphics. Yeah, you still want to play Persona 1. Well, recommendation is to read the script of Persona 1. I have a version of it linked in the description below. Thanks to the user Peace Diner on this forum, they were able to compile the entire script, or most of it anyway, into a single document. And I rearranged the script to edit it, put his canon name in there, so you can just read it fully without having to see a bunch of numbers that indicates the protagonist. And I rearranged it to where the Snow Conquest is first on the document, followed by Sebek. It's not perfect because the game didn't have a story where both routes happen the way they did canonically, which is Snow Conquest flows into Sebek. But I tried my best by just putting Snow Conquest first, so you at least get the context for how events played out if you play Persona 2 after, which I hope you do, because it's a very fantastic game as well. And I also have in the description a link to the playlist of all of the Persona 1, PS1, and the PSP soundtrack. The PSP soundtrack might not be my cup of tea, and I don't like it in the context of Persona 1, but there's people who do, so I'll leave it there just for the sake of it. But if you were to listen to me, have my recommendation, I strongly suggest you read the script with the Persona 1 PlayStation 1 soundtrack. And my second option will be watching one of the walkthroughs on YouTube. You can just search up Persona 1 full walkthrough, all cutscenes or whatever, and you'll see people playing it. But my issue with that is, a lot of these people do not do the side conversations. They don't go to shops, they don't talk to the party members, they don't talk to really anyone. They just fly through the story and pick either the first recruitable character that pops up or pick Reggie. And you're missing out a lot of the story by doing that. That's why I strongly suggest reading the entire script, because this script has all the characters that are available in a route all at the same time. So it's almost like they're all in the same party as you're reading the script, which is what happened canonically. So we're enjoying the full Persona 1 experience, but sadly without any of the presentation. Is it the best way is what I recommend? No. Honestly, the best will be to replay this game like several different times to get all the routes. But I know that's not convenient for the modern gamer. So this is the next best alternative before like a remake or something happens. Before you get on my case, understand the art of video games, understand the artism in Persona 1. But I can't lie and say that its gameplay and presentation has stood up perfectly, and that everyone who doesn't play it as it is just being a hater or anti-art. There's other games like Final Fantasy 1, even the original version, that I've had my friends replay without any problem. But Persona 1 specifically, because of how experimental as a game it was, it causes a lot of issues for those trying to go back and play it. So I perfectly understand why people have a problem with the things in the game. This is my alternative for those who don't want to actually play the game but still want to experience Persona 1 at least. I also have links to the two translated Persona 1 drama CDs, which were actually helped by Tadashi Sotomi, who is the main writer for Persona 1 and Persona 2. And these things are kind of semi-canon, because there's things in these audio dramas that are hinted at in like the lore books in Persona 2, but they're not solidly canon because they do have some changes like regards to Philemon and some scenes that don't happen in the game but are hinted at. So I'll leave that in there to also listen to for your enjoyment. They're not required, but they're very nice to listen to. And then after all this, I would suggest reading the manga as a supplementary material like it's supposed to be, not a replacement for the game. Thank you guys for this video, and I hope I can sit out that Narumi Yuya video soon. Thanks for watching.